Hey everybody, Phil Crew here, Comedy Cigars and Music, and today's cigar for review is the Arturo Fuente Añejo Reserva, number 77, Shark. Off the foot and wrapper, I'm getting raisin, berry, cream, hay, and there's some spice tickling the back of my nose there. Behold the legend. I don't know, is it the legend? It's probably debatable, like everything else in the cigar world. Yeah, leave your comment below. We can chat about it. And I will make just a few comments about the cigar. The red band is very cool. The cigar appears to be constructed very well upon looking at it. Nothing really standing out to me necessarily. Really toothy. So, I don't know. I'm interested to see what this cigar is all about. Now this might be sacrilegious, but I'm going to take the band off because the band is actually very loose, and instead of messing with it and having it slide over, I'll just take it off now. So for all those Arturo Fuente fans that like to keep their band on forever, I apologize. Okay, so from light up, we have some spice, earth, salt, plain popcorn, and a little bit of cream in there as far as the flavors go. Retrohale is giving me some earth and salt, and then the finish is giving me a very subtle spice and a very subtle earth. Okay, so everything's, I would say, fairly mild right now. Now the wrapper on this is a Connecticut Broadleaf wrapper, and in the Arturo Fuente Añejo line, those Connecticut Broadleaf wrappers are then aged in cognac barrels. Okay? And the binder and fillers are from the Dominican Republic. Now, as far as the vitola of this cigar goes, it is called the Shark because, as you can see, as it goes from the cap to the foot of the cigar, it gets thicker. Now, there's another thing that goes along with that. It also starts out round back here by the cap, and then eventually, by the time it gets to the foot, it becomes a square press. That's kind of cool. And as far as the dimensions of the cigar go, I researched it as much as I could, and quite frankly, the dimensions I found were all over the place for this cigar. So I measured it myself, came out with 60 as the ring gauge all the way at the foot, and as far as the length for this cigar goes that I'm smoking right now, came to 5 3/4. So that's what I'm putting down. Alright, we're well into the first third here. I'll show you that burn, which having a little bit of a challenge, and that ash as well, which is a little bit flaky here. Burn's got the Eddie Munster thing going on. And that ash just has a little bit of need for head and shoulders there. Okay, so I touched up that burn, got rid of some of that ash. Now flavor-wise here in the first third, some earth, butter, this blackberry has come in just recently, but that's very enjoyable. And then just some mild coffee in there. That coffee is also coming through on the retrohale, and then on the finish, that coffee darkens up a little bit. So you got a dark coffee in there, and then just some subtle spice and a hint of this fruit. That fruit, I would say, is reminiscent of the blackberry, but just maybe a little bit more subtle, watered down. Okay. And the draw and smoke output for this cigar up to now have been great. No issues. You know, with a cigar like this that's considered rare, there's some ash falling off, get rid of that. Sometimes we can, you know, kind of drop them into a legendary status bin as well, which, you know, we kind of tend to do, especially nowadays. Everything is legendary no matter what it is. Some guys even cite themselves as being legendary, so you have that. But it's really good for a reviewer of a cigar or any product to put that aside and just objectively see it for what it is, which at the end of the day is a cigar. Sometimes we'll get caught up in the cigar aficionado stuff, and you know, it's all about trying to do that #1 cigar review or #2 or whatever just to see if cigar aficionado is right. None of that really matters, and I don't know that the cigar itself or the product itself asked to be put in that status. So looking at stuff that way, I think, kind of sets it off on a bad foot right away and can kind of blur your judgment. So putting that aside and just looking at this as a cigar, which is how it'll end up getting rated. Alrighty, well into the second third here. The ash is holding on well, but very flaky. And I've had zero issues with the burn in the second third. Now, as I've been pulling the smoke in, it starts out with some coffee. That coffee kind of gives way to some mocha. Once that smoke is kind of hanging out in my mouth for a while, as I start blowing that smoke out, blackberry shows itself, and then we kind of end out with a nice earth there. The Retrohale is giving me this nice little coffee dark chocolate combo, and then the finish is continuing with that coffee, but instead of dark chocolate, it's bringing in some blackberry, which has been enjoyable for me. Now, that whole rare and legendary thing I talked about before reminded me of a story from when I was in high school. I was at a party, and party had been going on for like an hour, hour and a half, and this kid shows up, and he informs everybody that now that he's here, the party's here. He proceeded to play Ace of Base. In retrospect, I'm not really sure what party he brought. Alright, so finishing out cigar here. Blackberry, wood, mocha, toast, and cream on the flavors. Very enjoyable. Those flavors aren't muddled together either. Very distinguishable for me, so I dig that. On the Retrohale, coffee and just a little black pepper spice as that smoke completely blows out of your nostrils there. Just a little bit of black pepper spice there. And on the finish, coffee, wood, blackberry, and just this nice gentle spice has come back here in the final third. Enjoyable cigar for sure. Rating the cigar, on a scale of 4, I would give the Shark a 3 1/4. The Shark doesn't really care what you think about it. Draw, smoke output were excellent. The burn, I only had the one touch up in the first third. Second third and final third, no issues whatsoever. Smoke time for this cigar came out to 2 hours and 15 minutes. As always, guys, thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this review, enjoyed other videos, other reviews, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure to leave all your questions and comments below. I'll get to them as they come along. Until next time, guys, be cool to each other. Be careful when you arrive at a party claiming that you brought the party with you. Might not always work out. I'll see you soon.
Oh, such things will abound my house to amaze and confound me. Well, the way to the world, where I should have known myself. Well, the news and the company.